Hey there. You ready for a Power Pack session? The 5 Pillars of Success webinar starting momentarily. Hang in there. I'll be right with you. Grab a notepad. If you want to take notes, there's a Q&A section. If you hover over my picture, there's a question-answer section. You can ask questions, and I'll see them here. There's also a chat section if you want to send me a chat during this session. We're going to talk about success today. What's elusive is not having all the pieces together. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for other people to come. I see people joining. Hi there. So come on the chat, tell me who you are, and send me a note. And then if you have a question, there's a Q&A section, or ask it in the chat section. So I like to support people who are on time. So grab a notepad, and I want you to take notes today, because it will be Gio. Hey, good to see you, Gio. Thank you. All right, we're recording this session so that you'll have it to review. And if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to send you to a place and I'm going to give you my free program, which is the full program that I'm giving you the highlights for today. It's called the 5 Pillars of Success. And so get a notepad. I want you to write down these 5 pillars. And I need to turn off this phone thing. 5 pillars for success. So number 1, the first pillar is called strategy. Second pillar, skill. This is what leaders need, skill. First one, strategy. Second one, skill. Third one, team. Surround yourself with the best people. Fourth one is finance. And the last one is support. Now I'm going to go over these one by one, so if you need to go back and get there. So strategy. Fundamentally, the leader has the vision. It's our job to articulate that vision so clearly that others know where we're all going together. So underneath your strategy is why. You start with why. Why is it important? Why are you needed? Why is there need for your nonprofit or your business? So we start with the purpose. Why do you exist? We tend to want to go into the what, and we want to be really creative and say we're doing all these things. Stop. If you don't have a strategy, you shouldn't go anywhere. Articulate where you're going very clearly. Say, this is what's going to happen when. So it's paying the upfront price. It's far cheaper than paying the price at the other end when you have to go back and do it over because you didn't think it through. Strategy is your long-term vision. This is what it looks like in the future. I exist because of this. This is that's the problem I'm solving. We exist because we're solving a problem. How do we solve it? And what's unique about that? Your long-term objective defines what your organization looks like in the future. Your short-term goal is what it looks like in 1 year or less. Long-term is 3 to 5. Short-term is 1 or less. And then under your goals, you have monthly milestones. What will you accomplish every month? It's so key to define the results in the terms of a 30-day rotation. Life happens in 30-day rotations. So underneath the strategy, and if I'm going to give you a free program, it's a program I sell for $100. So stick to it at the end and I'll give you where you can get it. So fundamentally, this is the roadmap, the solution map. Where do you want to be and how are you going to get there? A strategic plan is different from a business plan. Business plan is what you give your banker or you're an investor or your donor. Strategic plan is how you operate your enterprise. How will you achieve that long-term vision? How will you achieve those goals? It's a tactical document. Now, we as entrepreneurs have all kinds of great ideas, and we want to do them all. And we have so many goals that they actually cancel each other out because we've not thought through what resources it takes, what the results are, what we set up things in motion. And as leaders, we cause problems. So the strategy is really your clarity document for you and your team. Now, you've defined in the strategy a lot of things, and I will continue to come back. Basically, don't go anywhere until you've written your strategy. It's your roadmap to success. Now, you've got the roadmap. Now, the second thing is leadership. How will you build your skill and the skill of your team, of the culture that you're building? How will you define it? Big mistake we all make is we're an entrepreneur. Actually, we're a social entrepreneur, whether we're running a for-profit business or a for-purpose nonprofit. We are making a difference in people's lives. We're a social entrepreneur. We don't work for a big corporation. It's important for us to embrace our skills. So the overview of transformational leadership is the culture of high performance. Now, under skill, we have leadership as a skill. That's me. We have leadership as a system. That's the skill of everybody in the culture. The transformational leader can articulate that vision we just talked about. Here's my vision for where I'm going. Vision is part of your strategy. The vision is the definition of what you're doing. The mission is how you will do it. Now, you must train yourself to be able to do that and articulate this vision and mission in a way that people would go, wow. It's the simplicity of the language. It's the power of the language delivered with passion. So the leader is always the presenter. We are the influencer. So number one, we must be able to embrace that and deliver that. Number two, underneath the skill, it's learning to take things off of our plate. We want to do it all. We know how it should go. In today's world, we need to learn how to get things off of our plate, put them into some systems and assign them to other people. We want to nurture other people. We're building this culture of high-performing leaders. Our first job is to create this culture of performance, even if we're working alone. We build a team around us. People that are part-time, people that are contract, people that are volunteers in our nonprofit community. And as we build out our position of influence, we attract people to us with common purpose, with common passion, and with common values. So let's be very clear on what we stand for. The skill is defining our position of influence as a leader. It's pull leadership. We attract people to us. The musical conductor doesn't push. The musical conductor draws people into the space together. So leadership is one of the most misunderstood words that I encounter when I work in organizations. It's misunderstood by the CEO, the president, the executive director. It's misunderstood by the members of the organization. The leader is not the boss. Boss spelled backwards is double S-O-B. It's not the authoritarian. It's not the dictator. Many people who are not musical conductors perceive that the conductor is a dictator, when in fact, the conductor is a person of influence. We influence highly skilled people to perform at a higher standard together. So we've defined in our strategy where we want to go. The next important step is to equip ourselves with the discipline to follow the plan, and then to move it forward in relationship with other people. And part of that is recruiting our teams. Our teams are volunteers, our teams are staff, our teams are contractors, our teams are board of directors, advisors. We surround ourselves with people more capable than we are. Choosing team members has 4 pillars. Number 1, the competency. Now, I told you I would go back and refer to the strategy. It's the anchor, the foundation for everything. In your strategy, you're going to go here. You're going to achieve these objectives. Define the competencies you're going to need. So the first step in building your team is, what is the competency? Do people have a skill in marketing? Do they have a skill in sales? Do they have a skill in fundraising? Do they have a skill in writing or accounting or legal? So we put our team together based on the competencies we need. Number 1. Number 2, when we find the competency, assign them a role and responsibility. Marketing person has a role of creating and implementing marketing strategies to meet the objectives in our strategy. Their responsibility is to manage that process. Their role is marketing, responsibility is to manage marketing and to achieve the targets that we've defined in our strategy. So as we're building our team, competency comes first. Role and responsibility is clearly defined in a written document. 3, are they a fit for our culture? Now, in our strategy, we defined our core values and we defined our guiding principles. We make principle-based decisions. One principle would be, we do not implement any program or process or event that's not defined in our strategic plan. Another principle is, we were not going to spend money that's not defined in our budget related to the milestones in our strategic plan. So competency is 1 for your team. 2 is role responsibility. 3, do they align with their personal values and your organizational values? And will they understand and implement decisions based on the principles that you've defined in your strategy? And the last part of defining the team, everybody on the team performs. This is a high performing team. A musical conductor understands how to create a high performance team. So transpose that, that's an ensemble. SynerVision is the organization that I founded. It's the synergy of a common vision. So the team develops the synergy because they're functioning around the vision that you have with the clear objectives. So the team represents your culture. The team is a reflection of the leader. The functioning of the team is a direct result of what we just talked about just before, the skill of the leader. So we do lead, we do empower our team, we build leaders on teams. We multiply ourselves because we've defined where we're going to go. We find really good people that can take that responsibility and move it toward the objectives that we've defined. There's a theme here of, we're not doing it, we're leading it. There are things that we must do. There are things we cannot delegate. There are things that only we can accomplish. There's a lot that we can take off of our plate. Remember, the first description of a transformational leader is to take things off of their plate, define things we can let go of. And then our team is going to represent us. So we model, as a transformational leader, we model what the team is going to do. We shape the culture. So learning self and understanding the impact of our decisions on how other people respond and behave. So we have a Q&A square in here. I see some people have joined us. I will send you the video, but more importantly, I'm going to send you to a destination. And if you sign up, you can get a free $100 program. No money. I told you to come, no credit card, no money. I'm not selling anything. I've learned these secrets in 31 years of working with organizations of all types. Many times as a music director in a megachurch, I managed lots of processes. As a matter of fact, 10% of my job was music. 90% was creating the systems so that we could do the music, getting people there, training people, putting all the programming together. So the bottom part of the iceberg, the 90%, is all of that stuff that we work on, beginning with our strategy. It's taking our ideas and putting them in contiguous form in a document that can be shared and understood by others. It's the engagement document for our team. So part of our skill set as a leader is being able to clearly define where we're going together. How are people going to follow if we can't define where we're going? And then how will we know that we've been successful if we don't define what the end result is like? So when you define your goals and your strategy, it's going to empower your team, because your goals tell what the future looks like. It's a specific arrival point. So our skill set is to be able to hone in on that, define what it looks like in quantifiable terms in present tense. So the skill, the growing skill, is something that we constantly work on. Never, ever stop. Now, we've got strategy, pillar one, skill, become a leader, grow your leadership skill, work harder on yourself than you do on your enterprise. It's a quote from the famous speaker, Jim Rohn. 3, get the best people around you. Find and build a team. Always work on relationship. Underneath leadership is relationship. Underneath communication is relationship. The money comes in to our business or our charity because we've cultivated relationships. Now, I mentioned money. So let's talk about the financial part of what we do. The finance is our 4th pillar. And we want to make money. We just bring money in. Now, there's a discipline around the financial, having an advisor who helps you create your budgets. Now, we talked about the strategy. Everything goes back to the strategy. Your budget, this is your financial piece. You spend $1, where is it in your strategy? I'm going to spend this $1 for marketing. I have a marketing program. We spend money. Every activity, every dollar should go to fulfill our strategy. Every activity, every dollar should go to create value. When we give value to people, we help people solve problems, then it attracts revenue to our organization. So it's really important that we understand the power of what we do to represent value for other people. How do they define value? So we have money. Okay, how long will that money last us? That's your cash flow projection. It's the headlights. Many times we get financial reports from our accountant, and it's the brake lights. It's your P&L. Okay, it's too late to change it. It's your balance sheet. It's too late to change it. It's your cash flow analysis. It's too late to change it. That's the brake lights. That informs us of what happened. Now, by the time we get our next financial statements, it's going to be too late to change them. So we want to do projections, cash flow projections. We want to have the strategy so tight that we know that by the end of the month, where we are we above water with cash flow? Or are we below water? Are we above water with positive cash? We call it profit in business. Nonprofit, it's still profit. It's the cash that we have to put back into programs, to train people, to add other programs, to build infrastructure and resources, to pay salaries. We can't distribute money to people in the form of dividends in a nonprofit. There's very clear rules of how the money flows. We want to invest the money in the people, into marketing, into programs, into self. So the better we are, the more value we're going to create to other people. We're anchored in value. So the financial piece is have somebody on your team. Remember I talked about competency? Somebody that understands how to create the books, how to read the numbers, how to create the projections. I find many people raise money either through an equity program or a donor program or a sponsor program. They raise money and then it runs out because we hadn't defined how long it's going to last before we have to turn around and generate more income. Now, here's the other financial piece that's so critical. If you have one source of revenue, one source of income, there's a 100% chance of you going broke. One source of revenue is not going to feed you forever. So we want to be very clear, and this is back in our strategy. What are the sources of income? Where does the revenue come from? In leading charities, I teach people we have 8 standard streams of revenue and 2 more if you have some cash for real estate or investments. There's a way to leverage that cash in passive income. So there's 10 sources for your average 501c3 to generate revenue. Why not? There's little chance they'll all go south at the same time. Revenue comes and goes throughout a cycle of month to month throughout the year. And it's important to understand what those cycles are and to build in some consistency in regular recurring revenue. When one stream is up, the other one might be down. So it will even out in the long run. So our streams of revenue are in our strategy. Our team understands it. Now here's a thought. Every person on your board of directors oversees one of those multiple streams of revenue. So they're personally invested in the program that you're doing. There's not a whole lot of difference in leading a nonprofit organization and leading an entrepreneur leading a small business. We are implementing a vision and we're providing value for other people and we're changing people's lives. So it's the impact of our work that we want to be very clear about. The impact is what attracts donors, qualifies us for grants, and customers buy because it gives impact to them. What is it that's going to happen as a result of our work? And that influences the finances a lot. Now, the 5th pillar, I'm going to call support. I have a coach. Everybody who's successful, whom I know, has one or more coaches, a mentor, an advisor, someone that helps us discover our blind spots. Those people who are super confident make a lot of mistakes just like others. Sometimes those that are super confident make more mistakes because the self-awareness piece is not as substantial as the confidence piece. So we want to find someone who's going to tell us exactly as they see it. And it's not going to be exactly as we see it. So think of someone anywhere in the world, an actor, a performer, an athlete, someone who's at the top of their field, who's one of the most successful in their field. Explore, you'll find that every one of them who's at the top of their field has a confidential advisor, a coach, some support system. So one side of support is that personal advisor whom you pay money to whom you're accountable, who will ask you the hard questions. Good leaders don't necessarily have all the answers. If you got a team, it's good that you don't have all the answers because you want them to embrace the hard themes and to come up with the answers that they need. So we have somebody who asks us the hard questions and gives us really sound feedback. There's also teams that we put together, our staff, our boards, our advisors. Napoleon Hill started this thing called the Mastermind Group. And he found that successful leaders, he interviewed 500 of them over 10 years. Every one of them had a support team that they called a mastermind. They would come together and they would help each other solve the problems that they brought to the table. And even people that are not in your industry, which is probably a good thing because you'll get a perspective that's different from yours. Even people who are not in your industry can be part of your mastermind group. You study together, that could be a cohort. That's another type of support system. CenterVision has a leadership cohort going on right now, and we'll offer another one in a few months. But we get together every Thursday at 3 and we talk about the topics that we need to discover. And somebody on the team has an observation that nobody else thought of so far. In the South, we say none of us is as smart as all of us. So what I do is put together a team of people who are better than me, in my estimation. So your mastermind team are people who've been successful. W. Clement Stone, one of the prime students of Napoleon Hill, defined that we become like the 5 people we hang around the most. That's not the exact quote, but we become like people that we hang around. So if you hang around a bunch of broke people, it's no wonder that you remain broke. If you hang around highly successful, focused people, that's the driver. That's the driver for success because they will impact your thinking. They will impact you because they're an influencer. You're an influencer. So look for the synergy in putting that together. So here we are. Here's the 5 pillars: strategy, skill, team, finance, and sustainability. So we're creating an organization that's sustainable. So we've built a culture of high performance around our vision, and they work in the strategy that we've created. And the part that's hard is the integration of that written document, the strategy, with performance. And so as a conductor, we take pieces of paper with dots on them, we pass them around to other people that have pieces of paper with dots on them, and we make glorious music because the leader is the person that integrates those written pieces with the performance. The leader in a nonprofit or a business takes the words on a piece of paper and helps others by guiding them, not telling them what to do. Here's my objective. How are we going to get there? So remember, the leader is the influencer. We influence people positively or negatively or neutrally, and we get to decide. So here we are, 5 pillars. I want to give you this program. It's got 6 different videos. There's one for each pillar, and then there's a summary. Along with each of those modules, there's an action guide. And in the action guide, it's a worksheet. How do you apply some of these principles? So it's a self-study course that I sell for $97. And really it's a bonus. It's a bonus program for joining my online community. Now, you can join the community, get the program, and you can opt out. So it's real easy. I want to get really good people who are purpose-driven into this community for community builders so we can start sharing good ideas with each other. And if you're willing to come and opt in this community for free, I'm going to give you this $100 program. It's called the 5 Pillars of Success. And when you get in the community, you're going to find there's a whole lot more other stuff that will be valuable to you. Now, there's different levels, and if you opt in at the $5 level, you'll get the 5 Pillars course. Plus, you'll get how to transform your committees into high-performance teams in just 21 days. You get a secondary program. And if you join at the next level, which is a $40 level, you'll get my $1,000 program at half price, the Unbound Leader. So plus you'll get in each of those levels a lot more content, a lot more benefits. So it's people talking to people about things that matter. And we're off of social media and all of the noise and confusion and the harsh comments of social media. We're for-purpose organizations doing good work, impacting people's lives. So CenterVisionLeadership.org is the community. But if you type in nonprofit performance, this is our magazine, nonprofitperformance.org, it'll take you to the magazine page. That's one of the benefits you'll get. Now, we've left it all open temporarily so everybody sees it. In a little while, you'll only see the current issue, and the past issues you'll have to be a member to have reading benefits. But you join the community at one of the paid levels, you get the magazine delivered to your mailbox, the print edition. But nonprofitperformance.org, if you go there at the top of the page, there's a blue button that says join. Here we go, nonprofitperformance.org. Go there, there's a join button for the community. Join at any level. And once you do that, you click join, you'll be directed to a thank you page. And on the thank you page, there's a little orientation video telling you about some of the values of the community. The bottom of the page, there's a banner. It says the 5 Pillars of Success. Click on that, and it takes you off the site onto the content delivery platform called Kartra. And then you'll have access to that program offline. There's 5 modules and then a summary module. And print out those action guides. Those would be good resources for you to have ongoing. I'm going to stop here and see if anybody has questions. Anybody have any questions about any of the content that I covered? You can certainly send me an email, and I'll be glad to address any comments before I sign off. I like down-to-earth, focused trainings that are concise. So I purposely made this something that you could take notes on, something that was in a system that you can start thinking about, what can I do to change my results? It starts with changing yourself, changing your habits, and creating new processes. So this is Hugh Ballou, the Transformational Leadership Strategist, inviting you to go to the CenterVision community. And one quick way to get there is nonprofitperformance.org, and it takes you to the magazine page. But join the community. I'd love to give you this program, and I'd love to hear from you about how successful that you've been applying some basic principles. So thank you for being here, and I'd love to hear from you. This is Hugh Ballou, Transformational Leadership Strategist. I'm wishing you all the success that you will allow yourself to have.